All right. Hey, good to see you. Let's take a look at compound inequalities. Glad you came in today. Okay, so compound inequalities are inequalities that are put together. So like multiple inequalities. The first type you can get is an and inequality. That's written as like an example as 3 is less than x, which is less than 9. So in an and inequality, both statements must be true. Both statements must be true. So for it to work, the x, or your number, has to be, in this case, larger than 3, but it's got to be less than 9. Okay, so that's an and inequality, and they're generally written this way. Sometimes you could see it as 3 is less than x and x is less than 9. Okay? Now, the other type of compound inequality is an or compound inequality. Okay? For example, you could have x is less than 5 or, looks like an of, sorry, or x is greater than 10. In this case, only one statement needs to be true. Okay, only one statement needs to be true. Needs to be true. Okay, so either x is less than 5 or it's greater than 10. And yes, they will put the or in between them. Okay, so you can't use 6, 7, 8, 9 in this case because those wouldn't satisfy that. Okay, let's take a look at these. So on this first one, how can I tell between an or and an and? Well, if I look at this, okay, I've got an open circle here. It's going out to the left. And I've got an open circle here, and it's going out to the right. This is like me, and these are the oars of a boat. I can sit in between them, and I can row my boat. Row my boat. Okay? So that is an or statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put or down here, and I'm going to write the statement for each one of those. Well, it looks like it's going by 2s, so this is going to be that x is less than a negative 6, okay? Or x is greater than 8. Now, notice the open circles, so I don't put equal to, okay? So I cannot use, in this case, any number in between here is incorrect. Everything else would be correct. Okay, so from a negative 6 to a positive 8, I cannot use any of those numbers in an or statement. I could use a negative 8 because it is, negative 8 is less than negative 6. Or I could use 12 because 12 is greater than 8. Okay? Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Look here. See this empty space in here? That means it's going to be an or statement. So I'm just going to go ahead and put or. Now I'm going to write this statement over here, which means x is less than 5. Okay, that's what this here is saying. This here is saying x is less than 5. So then I'm going to do the other statement. Okay, so I'm going to do this statement over here. And I'm going to put that x is greater than or equal to 6, because notice how the dot is closed in, so it's going to be greater than or equal to 6. This is my or statement. And it's an or because, if you remember, because I got this little gap in between here, nothing between from 5 to right before 6 will work for this particular statement. And remember, in the ors, only one statement has to be true. Let's try another one. Oh, look here, there's no spacing in there. Okay, this is an and. So here's how I write my and statements. I put my first number, 1, and then I go less than, it's colored in, so that means it's also equal to. I put my x in the middle, okay, and then I put my second number, 7. And then I put down less than, it's colored in, so equal to. There is my and statement, okay? 1 is less than and equal to x, which is less than and equal to 7. So only the numbers here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will work to satisfy this. And remember, both of them have to work to satisfy it. Okay? Here we go. Oh, look at this. Another and statement. There's no spacing in between them. So I write my first number. Okay, let me get a different color here. I write my first number. Okay? X has got to be greater than that. Oh, and it's also equal to, because it's a solid dot. And then it's less than 0. Open circle here. So no equal to. And it's just right there. Okay? Could I write it as -6 is less than or equal to x and x is less than 0? I for sure can. That's the same thing. But remember, with the and statement, it has to satisfy both of them. The or statement, it only has to satisfy one. Okay. So now when I'm graphing these, this is an and statement. Notice there's no word that says or in there, so it's an and statement. So when I graph this, I put my circle on -5, okay? There's no equal to, so it just stays an open circle. There's no equal to, so it stays an open circle on 2. And since it's an and statement, I connect the the two circles together. Okay, so all the numbers inside there, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, all will work in that and statement. Okay, take a look at this one. Another and statement. There's no word or in here. So I put a circle on 3 and I leave it open. Notice it doesn't say equal to. And then at -6, I close in my circle. Notice it says equal to. Okay? So now, since it's an and, connect the two circles. All of those numbers in between there work. Okay? All right, look at this one. It's got the word or in there. So they're not going to connect this time. Okay, so I'm going to write each one of these individually. R is less than or equal to 3. So I go 3. Less than or equal to, color it in. Okay, and it's less than. So it goes this way, just like we were doing for just regular inequalities. Now I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it for this one here. And I'm going to put a colored in circle because it's equal to. And it says R is greater than, so greater than. Notice as I graph these, I've got that open space. Remember that open space we talked about? There's that open space. That makes it an or statement. Plus, it's got the word or in there. Okay, take a look at this one here. Okay, same thing. It's got an or statement in it. So I'm going to just put an open circle on 1 because there's no equal to. And x is less than, so x is less than. Means it's going to the left, less than to the left. Okay, that's this one here. And then I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do that one then. I'm going to put a circle on 5. It's going to stay open because there is no equal to. X is greater than 5, so greater than 5. And there we go. There's how you would graph an or statement. Okay. All right. Now we got to solve them and then graph them. Well, with this or statement, these are two separate inequalities. We're going to solve them separately. Okay. So over here, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. That's going to give me n is less than or equal to -4. Okay. Or the or just comes straight on down. Or now I'm going to solve the other side. Okay. I'm going to divide by -4. Divide by -4. And if you remember, when you divide by a negative, you must flip the inequality. So n is greater than 2. When I graph those, my arrows should go in opposite directions. Let's see. I'm going to circle my 2 just to keep my colors the same. N is greater, so I'm going to go greater than. Okay, get my red pen back, and I'm going to go -4. And n is less than or equal to, so color that in because it's equal to and it's less than. And there we go. There's my empty space in between of those that do not work. Those do not satisfy either one of the statements. Okay, so here I got to actually solve them, then I can graph them. Look at this. It's an and statement. So how do I work those? Okay, with an and statement, it looks like this. I take one inequality, so I solve this. 2 is less than 2x. Divide by 2. Okay, x is greater than 1. Watch what happens. So I'm going to go to 1, and I'm going to put an open circle, and it's greater than 1. So it's going this way. Okay, now I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to go with the other side. I'm going to take this here and work that one. So 2x is less than 6. I'm going to divide by 2. X is less than 3. So in that case, now I'm going to put an open circle on 3, and it's less than. There we go. So I go back and I erase all of this here. Boom. There's my statement. It's this really small portion. Only the number 2 works in this particular statement. Because if I put 1 in there, it won't work. Because remember, with an and, it has to solve by both of them. Okay? All right, another and statement. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do these here. This is not part of my first one. Okay? So I'm going to go -3 is less than m minus 5. And then I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it with this one. That is not part of my statement. So I'm going to go m minus 5 is less than -1. Now we just go ahead and solve them and we work it out. Okay, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. That gives me 2 is less than m. Okay, so 2 is less than m. 2, open circle. That means m has got to be this way. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other side. And I'm going to add 5 to that side. Add 5 to that side. M is less than 4. So then I'm going to go 4, and I'm going to go less than. And there we are. I can go back, and I can erase all of this stuff here. Boom. There's my inequality. Okay? And notice the m's are in the middle, right? So I could technically do this. 2 is less than m, which is less than 4. Okay? All right. Oh, we got an or statement. That means they're going to go away from each other like the oars in a boat. So I'm going to solve just this one right here. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. That's going to give me p is less than or equal to -3. Okay, and I can graph that. So I can go -3. Oh, color it in because it's equal to as well. And it's less than, so it's going to go this way. Okay. And then I'm going to solve the other one. And I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So p is greater than or equal to 2. And my or will just drop right here, or. Okay, so p is greater than or equal to 2. So since it's equal to, I got to color it in. And p is greater than. And there we go. Okay, so with my compound, my or statements, that middle is the stuff that does not work. All right, a little more complex here. It's just a little bit more work. I've got an or statement, which means I'm going to do everything there. Okay, so I'm going to do what I normally do. I will distribute. That's 18, and I will distribute. That is plus 4b is less than 14. And just work it out. So subtract 18 from both sides. That's 4b is less than -4. Okay, remember I only flip that inequality if I divide or multiply by a negative. So now I just divide by a regular 4, so it stays. b is less than -1. So I can do that. I can go -1. Keep it open because it's not equal to, and b is less than that. There's my 1. Now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again. But this time, I'm not going to include any of this stuff here. Okay? I'm just going to subtract 7 from both sides. Okay, that goes away. That's a negative 5b is less than negative 15. I'm going to divide by negative 5. Dividing by negative, remember, that means that I flip the sign. B is greater than 3. So I go 3, keep it an open circle because it's not equal to, and B is greater than that. And there's my OR statement. It's either going to be here or it'll be there. Remember, it only has to satisfy one of them to be an OR statement. And our last one. Okay, now look at this one. It says and in the middle, which means they could come together. They will come together. So I'm going to do my first statement, but I'm not going to use any of this stuff here. Okay, so we're going to distribute. 3 and 3 is 9. And here, it's a negative 12r greater than or equal to 99. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. That's a negative 12r is greater than or equal to what? Negative 108. Okay? Now, 12 divide by negative 12. Divide by negative 12. Dividing by negative means flip that sign. And that's going to be 9. Okay? I can go ahead and graph that. R is greater than or equal to 9. So I'm going to go to 9. I'm going to make a dot, color it in, and R is less than that. Less than that. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to use everything but this. I'm not going to do any of this stuff. Okay, I'm going to do the others. So I'm going to distribute negative 2r and distribute negative 4 less than negative 12. Add 4 to both sides. Negative 2r is less than negative 8. Now divide by negative 2. R, divided by a negative, flip that inequality. R is greater than 4. So I'm going to go to 4, and I'm going to leave it as an open circle, and it's greater than that. There we are. Then I can take my eraser, and I can go right back here, and I can erase that, and boom. There is my AND statement, and I can put AND in here in the middle if I want, or I could rewrite the whole thing, putting the R's in the middle. So it'd be 9 is greater than or less than R, and R is greater than 4. Okay? And that's our statements there. That is compound inequalities. Thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of your day.